Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to this walkthrough of the Aurum Lenormand by Melissa Wotherspoon. This deck looks to be really beautiful, and I was very excited when Melissa Wotherspoon, who is the creator of the Tarot Doxies as well as several other decks, including the more recently kickstarted Rustic Roots Lenormand, reached out to me to offer to send me this deck to share with you guys. So I'm really excited to do that. I want to read you a little bit about this deck because there's a blurb on the back that I think is really helpful. Or actually maybe it's in the book because I've taken a quick peek. I did cheat, y'all. This is not an unboxing technically. So it says, this deck was lovingly created by Lachlan and Melissa Wotherspoon 2019. We hope you enjoy it. It's a really nice metallic accented magnetic flip box. I mean, this is really lovely, particularly for a Lenormand deck to have this sort of gold foil accent. I don't think I have any Lenormand decks with gold foil accent other than maybe gilding on the cards, so I think that's really beautiful. So let's pull these out of the box. The box says, wishing you a beautiful journey, and I can't with this gold that runs through it. It's really eye-catching. So let's set that to the side and take a look at the guidebook. So there is quite a nice little white book here for a Lenormand deck. So if you're new to Lenormand and wanting a set that gives you like a little bit more than just the cards, this is a great one to start with. So the gold that heals, it says. So I'm just going to read the intro. My son and I completed this deck together as I waited for my Low Rider Dachshund Tarot, which I've also walked through on this channel, so I will link that up in the cards. If that walkthrough is not up for some reason, I'm sorry and I take it back, but it will be coming. So my son and I completed this deck together as I waited for my Low Rider Dachshund Tarot to finish its print run. When a project is out of your hands, you put something else in your hands. We hope that this deck becomes a helpful go-to for you and a mainstay in your toolbox. I've always been fascinated by the centuries-old Japanese practice of repairing pottery with gold, known as kintsugi. Please forgive me, you guys, if I pronounce that wrong. Repairing something and rendering it even more beautiful with its embedded story was something I wanted to embody in this deck. I've added an optional unnumbered person card as the system comes from a history where a gender binary was the norm. The person in this deck is based on a friend of mine, Amy, who is an ally, a member of the LGBTQ+ community, and a strong advocate for people of diverse abilities. The child in this deck is Amy's son, Emmett. Both Amy and Emmett live with Marfan's syndrome, which is a rare condition that affects connective tissue. Amy and Emmett will experience a lifetime of monitoring and life-saving surgeries. They are, in a sense, like kintsugi. So it says, please visit www.marfan.org to learn more about this condition. And then it gets into a little bit more about the Lenormand, as well as some really interesting tidbits about the Grand Tableau, which I think is really cool. And we'll talk some more about this little booklet in a moment, but I want to dive into the cards. I just wanted you to have the context of the deck. So let's get zoomed in and take a look at these beautiful cards. So first off, can we just say these are a beautiful mirrory shiny gold gilding that doesn't feel uncomfortable to touch. The cardstock is really lovely and matte and feels pretty sturdy. I would say these are a 330 GSM cardstock. Really nice. Could be, I mean, I'm just guessing at GSMs because I forgot to ask Melissa, but there we go. So this says 2019-2020. There's our title card. Let's just set that aside. So we have the writer. Love the gold flashing here. Clover. Ship. House. Oops. Tree. I love that the tree is sort of windswept here and a little bit more sparse, damaged. Clouds. This time it looks like lightning. Interesting. Let's just pause for a second here. So here the gold seems to attach around the horse's neck a little bit, like perhaps the horse has some neck concerns. It's interesting if you wanted to dig into that layer. And I know we don't typically do this in Lenormand, but I think it's interesting. Here we have the gold runs through and past the stem. Here the gold on the ship runs across the bow of the boat, and you can actually see, I might be wrong, but it looks like maybe this, there's a mast that's tipped, maybe broken. Here we have the house. It it could be that it's maybe not meant to point out flaws, but it's really interesting to me, this concept. Because this tree definitely has a branch that's off to the side as if it's been broken. And then again, sorry, back to clouds where we have some lightning, almost gold. Snake. I love the sort of black and white sort of, or grayscale, I guess, cards with these flashes of gold that run through. I just think that's a really stunning effect. Bouquet. These are just really gorgeous. Scythe. I kind of wish the scythe was just a little bit bigger in this card, but I'm just so entranced by the gold. The whip. Birds. Child. Fox. Bear. Love the fierce mama bear energy in this card. I adore this star card. So it's a star at the heart of a compass, and that really works for Lenormand, I think, particularly as the stars card can often be about navigation. Stork. Love me a stork in flight. Dog. There's our dachshund. Tower. I'm just, this gold. Garden. Mountain. Crossroad. I'd never even heard of this deck until she sent it to me. I didn't know. And it's really beautiful. Mice. I love that they're chewing on the wheat here, because the wheat and obviously harvest can be associated with your abundance and the idea that there's something being taken away or nibbled away. Heart. Love that it's two hands forming a heart. I think that really works. Oops. Sliding around the ring. These are matte. That's just me being clumsy. Book. I also wish that the book, and mostly because I've learned that there's a way to read this card directionally, and it helps to know where the spine is versus the pages side of the book. So the fact that the spine is to the top and the pages to the bottom, I wish it was kind of sideways, just for the aspect of being able to read that directionality. But I think it's really cool, and I like the way that it's like showing. You could still actually do that if you were in a 9-card spread. You could read the spine above and the secret revealed below. So you still have an option for that directionality. Now that I think about it, but yeah. The letter. So pretty. Man. He's kind of pretty for a boy. Like pretty, like, I said that weird, but I don't often notice the looks of men. I thought he was a nice looking man. That's what I was trying to say. Woman. Somebody's going to be giggling in the comments over that. Lily. I love this. Sun. Moon. Key. Fish. It's pretty. Anchor. Cross. That's our last card in the set, the 36th card. And then here is the person card. So you use the person card as an extra significator card. So if you were reading for a querent and another person, you could just use the person card to signify that other person, right? So here is her friend with her friend's child, I'm assuming as a baby in this image. It's powerful. Okay, so I didn't show the backs. They're this really cool grayscale ink splotchy kind of look. Really, really, really pretty. So let's get zoomed out. We'll take another look at the guidebook, and we'll take a look at an example entry in the guidebook. There we go. All right, so let's give these a shuffle. I have a feeling they're going to shuffle great. They're a little bit stiff, but they've got give and bend, so they riffle well, which is all I'm after in my cardstock, is a good riffle and to hold up well. Really pretty. The gold flashes in these cards are gorgeous. So let's grab one of these. With Lenormand, I would typically read in like a 3-card spread, but here we've pulled the Coffin cards, so we'll take a look at what the guidebook has to say about the Coffin, and that will give you a feel for hopefully how the guidebook would work. Coffin is 8, right? Yeah, 8. Coffin. Okay, so I'm going to pull the image up and I'll read you what it says here. Correspondence is the 9 of diamonds, so it gives you the playing card correspondence, which is great. The Coffin is associated with endings, transitions, transformation, breakups, literal and metaphorical death, closure, and separations. Depending on the surrounding cards, this card can be negative or positive, even though at first glance it can be pretty disturbing. Remember, change often signifies growth and resolution. Grand Tableau House Focus question. How can this card help you work through a transition? So what she's talking about there is that if you were reading a Grand Tableau, you lay out all 36 cards, and so you might have the order of the cards is the houses. So numbers 1 through 36. If you have a card in position 8, so if this was just position 8 in the Grand Tableau spread, but you actually had, say, the bouquet in it, it would be like, how can a gift help you with a transition? And that's sort of a prompt to help you learn the houses. That's actually super useful if you're hoping to learn Grand Tableau, to have a prompt that will help you kind of clue into what it means for a house. Something else you can do if you have multiple Lenormand decks is you can lay out your first, say, 9, let's say we're going to do a 3-card spread, right? You could actually lay out card 1, 2, and 3. So you'd have, I shouldn't have mixed them up already, hey? Oh boy. I know what I'm getting at. Oh, I can take the extra person out for now. It's there. Okay, so you'd have card 1, 2, and where's 3? This is a terrible demonstration. That's okay. We're going to roll with it there in the ship. Okay, so you could lay out 3 cards, Rider, Clover, and Ship, as your 3 houses. And then you could take your other Lenormand deck, shuffle, and lay out 3 cards in these positions, right? As if they were the first 3 cards in your Grand Tableau. And you could actually read them as a line, but you could also combine them with what was underneath, with the houses underneath. You can do the same thing with a 9-card spread. So there's a lot of things you can do when you play with houses. I don't do a lot of that in my personal Lenormand practice at this stage, but I also haven't worked with the Grand Tableau a lot yet. And so I think that's really cool that there's a reference in the guidebook to it, especially if you're trying to learn. I think that's really nice. So what I like to do with the extra card is usually put it under the book if the book is going at the bottom of the box. So that's what I'm going to do. Put that card there. Oh, but first, you guys, we have to do our fan. This is what I like to do. So there's our title card that can live with the extra card at the bottom. All right, let's give her a fan, see if she does. Feels matte, but doesn't feel clumpy. Maybe a little tiny bit, but not too bad. Pretty good fan, I would say. So that, my friends, is the Aurum Lenormand by Melissa Wotherspoon and Lachlan Wotherspoon. Thank you so much for hanging out with me as I took you on a little tour of this Lenormand deck. I think it's really, really beautiful. I will have a link to where you can purchase this deck in the description box down below. Thank you again to Melissa for sending me this deck. Remember to like, share, and subscribe if you are new here. And if you would like to book a reading with me, you can do that at supportivetarot.com. Thanks, guys. Bye.